when you wrote the M document, when Rajiv and Dr. Kelkar produced those documents, India's GDP was roughly around $300 billion. Now it's approaching $3 trillion. The idea of $5 trillion seems achievable, seems doable. In your assessment, given all your experience, how much of what the government is doing is promoting that kind of growth, and where do you think the roadblocks are?
No, I think, let me just say that this whole business of reaching a particular $1 trillion, this is a slogan, and slogans are very important. I mean, they're catchy. But to say we're going to reach $5 trillion is not very different from saying we're going to aim at a certain growth rate. And the traditional metric by which overall performance has been judged has been growth rate of GDP. Government changed that to reaching a certain $1 trillion level. I don't think that matters either way. What is important is to convert the $1 trillion into the growth rate that you need to get there. And that has the immense advantage that you can measure your progress year by year. I mean, for example, I think as Rajiv has rightly pointed out, holding the government to reaching $5 trillion by 2024 is not fair. Because the fact is you've had a pandemic, you have lots of other things. It's been a very unusual period. So now let's look at the revised target, which is, I'm told, $10 trillion by 2030. So we've got back to the same level of output that we were before the pandemic. So you can say that the short-term impact of the pandemic is now behind us. Hopefully we won't have another pandemic, nobody's sure. But we're now talking about the next 9 years. And if you were to rephrase your question, that is $10 trillion by 2030 feasible? The way as an economist from outside, I would address that question is, what does it mean for the growth rate? Now, the Indian economy today is about 2.95 trillion, according to all these usual estimates. In order to reach something close to 10 trillion by 2030, and allowing 3% as an international inflation rate in dollar terms, okay? It will have to grow at 11% per year for 9 years. So you have to rephrase the question, are we putting forth a program that will achieve an 11% growth per year in real terms over the next 9 years? Now, by the way, if a government commits itself to that, I think that's wonderful. I mean, everybody would like the economy to grow rapidly, but then you can address the question, are we doing enough? Now, let me just put it by way of background. Even China, over a long period, didn't average more than 10%. So if you were to force me, I would say that's an unrealistic target. And, you know, one view is a target that's 2030 is, far enough away that you might as well savor the joy of $10 trillion and not get too bugged by what does it mean in terms of growth rates. But on the other hand, if you want a reasonable assessment of short-term performance, my guess would be that we have gone through the pandemic now. We're reasonably positioned to get back under normal circumstances to what would be good growth, but we are still staring at a global crisis which is the length and duration of which is uncertain, because we just don't know how long the Russian-Ukraine crisis is going to last, what's it going to do to oil prices, is this a temporary thing and it's all going to come down? Most of the international chaps do not think it's temporary. So quite frankly, it will take a lot of time even to pick up growth.
Yeah, ideas of India.